He linked me exactly this.
It's a Russian state-controlled energy company, Gazprom.
The third method they use is astroturfing, where they set up front organizations, fake professorships, and fake industry organizations to convince politicians that a chorus of people all want them to classify gas as green.
Even if you're trying to talk to all sides of
about
the
them buying up all the property.
and get well informed, and then you maybe speak to a professor, then you speak to an industry association, speak to a couple of companies, and you're hearing the same argument.
Why is he wearing a mask?
And you think, well,
everyone
he's
nervous.
Agrees on that, so that
This
must be the
fucking
right
guy
thing to do for the law. That
this dude's scared of getting fucking Epsteined, bro. He's scared of getting Epsteined. That's scary.
That I have to vote on. Not realizing that.
All right, I gotta go back. Let me listen to this.
Association, speak to a couple of companies, and you're hearing the same argument time and again, and you think, well, everyone agrees on that, so that must be the right thing to do for the law that I have to vote on. Not realizing that actually you only ever talked to the same fossil fuel companies time and again. Just
this can't be about
different,
gas.
Organizations that they fund, that they control.
The fossil fuel industry has even started using an election manipulation technique where they siphon votes away from climate activist politicians by paying random people with the same name as them to run on the same ballot.
And we actually saw this same situation in two other
wearing fucking masks,
races where there was a fake candidate that was filed in that election to basically pull votes away from Democrats.
Your haircut gives you away.
You're wearing a ring. As being progressive. This has been referred to as the ghost candidate scheme.
Somebody's gonna figure out who you are.
Scheme, and it really is.
Reddit's scary.
One of the most egregious examples of political corruption.
By rebranding itself financially, legally, and in the public image, the oil and gas industry is weathering the tide of climate legislation. But even when that strategy fails, they have one final secret weapon at their disposal. An obscure agreement from the 90s called the Energy Charter Treaty gives fossil fuel companies the power to sue foreign governments.
What does this have to do with BlackRock?
If they change any law.
Does that even have anything to do with BlackRock? Is this even about BlackRock at all? This seems like it's about gas. Has anyone seen this? Dude, Elizabeth Warren's always been a babe. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Damn.
That affects their investments.
You might have rickrolled me. Shadow
the cases
courts?
are hidden from the public in so-called shadow courts. The second any...
That sounds about as fucked up as dark pools. Even though... I know it's just vocabulary. I know everyone likes to scream dark pools because it's a scary word and it's fun to say. But dark pools are not the majority of the problem. It is OTC. OTC. Alternative trading systems are dark pools. Not the majority of the problem. Problem is OTC, over the counter, which is wholesaling, which is off-exchange trading managed by a market maker that fills all your orders. That's the problem. It's not dark pools. It's also brokers. It's also the DTCC. It's also the NSCC. It's also the DTC. It's also FINRA. It's everything. But
government comes up with climate legislation, corporate lawyers appear from the shadows.
The foreign investor is allowed to sue you in what is called private arbitration. So what is private arbitration? It is a shadow court. It's a parallel system to our justice system.
A shadow court consists of 3 lawyers. One acts as arbitrator. The other 2 represent either the country or the energy firm. But they rotate jobs, earning millions in the process.
And when I say we have 146 cases today, these are the known cases. It is likely that there are more cases that we don't know, because under the Energy Charter Treaty, there is no obligation for the investor nor for the government that has been sued to make the case known.
Bro, this is some Illuminati shit. There can't actually be something called a fucking shadow court. Get the fuck out of here. No way. Some of the most important moves by the Supreme Court in the past few years haven't followed the traditional process of briefs, oral arguments, and private discussions among the justices to produce lengthy, heavily footnoted opinions. Some procedural actions by the justices have come to be known collectively as the shadow docket. Oh, that's scary. And as the number and importance of these decisions have increased, so as have the concerns raised by scholars, senators, and even some of the justices themselves. They say the decisions are rushed, that they don't allow for full arguments, and that the rulings are less transparent than typical cases. Let me watch this part again. I'm sorry.
Or lawyers.
Investor is allowed to sue you in what we call private arbitration. So what is private arbitration? It is a shadow court. It's a parallel system to our justice system.
A shadow court consists of 3 lawyers. One acts as arbitrator, the other 2 represent either the country or the energy firm. But they rotate jobs, earning millions in the process.
And when I say we have 146 cases today, these are the known cases. It is likely that there are more cases that we don't know, because under the Energy Charter Treaty, there is no obligation for the investor nor for the government that has been sued to make the case known.
When Ms. Black raised...
Bro, what the fuck happened to America? What happened, bro? What happened? I don't understand. Dude, when the government was created, its job was solely to serve we the people. We the people said, hey, it's obvious that if we don't have some form of a hierarchical system and some form of organization, that we will collapse and we can't grow as a society. We're going to be limited to our capacity of growth. So you know what they did? They decided, let's form a government. And the purpose of the government will be to direct we the people so that we can have growth. We'll pay you guys taxes so that you have a set amount of money, a budget, so to speak, every single year to improve the way of life of America, to improve our growth, to put us into better economic situations, to make treaties with other countries, to handle our civil matters, to give us freedoms and rights and protect our freedoms and rights. So when the fuck did we get to the point that we have a shadow court that hides our ability to see what's happening with government tax dollars that are paid by we the people? What the fuck? What happened? That's absolutely insane to me. That's crazy. It turned from we the people to fuck the people. It's absolutely crazy. That just blows my mind, dude.
The alarm about these shadow courts to her colleagues.
A lot of people had to make a decision to make that happen.
By fossil fuel lobbyists who had secretly infiltrated the Energy Charter Treaty Secretariat where they worked.
It's just unbelievable to be in Brussels, the capital of Europe, in 2018 and to be harassed. And I was wondering why this guy was reacting so badly. And in February, I think 2020, found out he works for fossil fuel company while he was at the same time secretariat.
What this means is that no matter how loud you protest, no matter who you elect, and no matter how robust international agreements are, ultimately, it will all be blocked by 3 corporate lawyers in a room. The fossil fuel industry international agreements are, ultimately, it will all be blocked by 3 corporate lawyers in a room.
Why is it that 3 fucking people get to decide the fate of millions of people? You know what I'm saying? Like, let's have a hypothetical for a second. Hypothetically speaking, let's say that one of you in chat, all of you in chat, right? Put yourself in this situation. You are the sole decider of the fate of 100 people. It could be something so small as, let's just say, you get to decide whether these 100 people will ever get to eat apples again in their life. There's a bill that's coming out and it's underground, and you know that you have the power, while nobody knows, right, to decide if those 100 people can ever eat apples ever again. Hey, we're going to ban apples for these 100 people. They will never know that we were the ones that decided it, but we're going to ban it. Would you be comfortable pulling that trigger? Would you be comfortable being the one person that gets to decide the fate of 100 people in something so small as what they get to eat any given day? That's incredibly scary to me. It really is. That's deciding people's freedom and choices without even having them be a part of the discussion. Yeah, Jake? So you're kind of scary, bro. That's kind of fucking scary.
The fossil fuel industry continues to claim they're committed to net zero emissions by
apples
2050.
for all? Bro, I'm not. They're going to be stuck eating no fruit. See, if I was that one guy, I wouldn't even say apples. I'd say, hey, all of America can never have a fruit or vegetable again in their life. You guys are stuck on my diet. McDonald's, Subway, and fucking Popeyes.
Becoming a net zero emissions energy business by 2050 in step with society. Nice words, you say, but what does it actually mean?
This fuck off,
Becoming
dude.
a net zero emissions energy business by 2050 in step with society.
He looks like a villain. He looks like he belongs in a 007 movie.
What does it actually mean?
For starters, it would mean not conducting a shadow war to prevent net zero. The truth is that global warming isn't your fault. In fact, just 100 companies are responsible for 71% of global emissions.
You
But
guys
they're willing to
remember, was it Shell? Was Shell the company? No, it was BP. Back, I think it had to have been a fucking decade ago by now. But BP spilled hundreds of thousands of millions of gallons of oil into the ocean. You remember that? That took fucking years to clean up.
Every aspect of reality to hide that. Across the world, there's a sense that we're finally divesting from fossil fuels. Our governments are finally investing in green energy. And finally, there are new laws being passed to protect our climate.
What do we want? What do we want it now? The people.
By the time we realize that all three of those things are just carefully woven illusions, it may already be too late.
See, it would be theoretically possible to go energy clean, but I don't even think that our technology or our infrastructure can support it yet. That's the problem, you know? It's just we're not ready. I just don't think we're ready. Like, here's the thing. We can talk about it from a perspective of timeliness. If you could somehow get this shadow war to end on oil and energy independence, so that we're energy independent in terms of clean energy, right? Maybe it's hydrogen, maybe it's electricity, maybe it's water. I've seen cars that run on water on YouTube. But you have to be able to create technology and infrastructure that supports that for all livable wages, you know? So the lower to middle class Americans that make $20,000 to $50,000 to $60,000 a year, how are you going to be able to get one of them an electric vehicle that's affordable? And then you also have to think about the batteries being able to survive in the cold, right? So people who live in the Midwest where it gets to below zero for half the year, how are the batteries going to hold up? They lose charge overnight when it's below zero, right? That's problematic. That's not sustainable. If you live in Alaska, well, then fuck you. You're basically screwed. And then how are you going to get chargers in locations so that everybody in every town doesn't have to worry about charging their vehicle? It's not a matter of just the shadow war. It's a matter of being able to pump out enough technology and improvement and infrastructure for that to be even possible. So what it would take is the shadow war ending, and then from there you would need all the people for these big oil companies, and you guys already know where I'm going with this. All these big oil company names would have to stop with oil and move to clean energy and focus their energy on creating better technology, creating better infrastructure, and making the product more affordable. And once you get to that point, then you can really start to mass adopt it across not just the United States, but across the world. And what that would take is these big boys stopping this shit and having more bodies, more eyeballs, studying, creating, building, improving, advancing. And that just will not happen. These guys are short-sighted. Americans, people in general are short-sighted. They see, hey, why go through all this fucking work to do something new when if it ain't broke, don't fix it, you know? Oil's not broke, don't fix it. Sure, the world's gonna fucking burn down, but I'll be dead. At least I enjoyed a good life. That's the mentality of these people. And to be honest with you, in your own life, in my own life, people like taking shortcuts. People just do. If there's an easy answer, people would prefer to take the easy answer. And that's what these big oil companies are fucking doing. Spruce, thanks for the follow, man. When it makes more money, they will. That's exactly it, man. For them right now, it's just a cost. It would just cost them money to change their business model. I just don't see that ever fucking happening in the short term. Like, yeah, in an ideal world, it's theoretically possible, but then you got to cross the bridge of theory versus reality. And reality is that people are standard deviations. Humans and people and greedy people at that, fat cats who get comfortable and lazy, don't want to change the fact that they're fat and lazy, you know? Thanks for the bits, Cloud. A BlackRock spokesman said the company disputes Mr. Pink's view and said sustainable investing can deliver strong investment returns while also helping to address urgent social and environmental concerns. BlackRock strongly supports standard-setting efforts needed to encounter the risk of greenwashing. Greenwashing? What the fuck is that? You are being told to lower your AC usage on hot days to prevent overwhelming grid while being told to trade in gas cars for EVs. Another example of we have to improve infrastructure. We do. The infrastructure we presently have would not support all Americans going electric. And to be frank with you, it's just not feasible or affordable for everybody. It's just not. And I drive a Tesla. Like, I love Teslas. I love electric vehicles. I think we need to go green. I don't think it's a myth to say that there's obvious repercussions of us using oil for the last century, right? But there also has to be a sense of realism here that you can't reverse or change what people have been building for over a century in the matter of a fucking 4-year period or a year period. It's going to take time. A full transition could take 20 years. It could take 2 or 3 decades, man. You're not going to do it overnight. It's just not possible. Oh, hi. Oh, I didn't see you there. Well, since you're here, check out this video and also that video and maybe Twitch, which is down there, fucker. Have a good night.